And hello everybody, welcome back to the channel guys. I hope you're all well. Before we do get into today's live stream, as always, please do smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for daily Rangers content. Guys, still in the international break. Thankfully, we're on the other side now of that weekend in the lead up, of course, to the big game against Hibernian. And whilst this has actually been a very quiet international break for Rangers so far, we are starting to get some good news, big bits of news with regards to our players that could affect the title race that's going on, and we'll share that with you in today's live stream if you like, but let's try and make this an interactive one, guys. Let's get some chats down there in the live chat, and yeah, let's spark some conversation as we do go through all the latest Rangers news as always. Of course, following the fallout from yesterday or the 2 days ago, the Rangers winning, and of course winning the Sky Sports Cup. There was, of course, all of that non-story stuff with regards to Hearts and that sort of thing. I'm not going to go over it again, but yeah, certainly you can tell it's an international break when all of this sort of non-news is coming out and people are talking of all of those things. But yeah, a bit of entertainment, a bit of funny, a bit of humour for us all to laugh at. But yeah, Scottish football truly is triggered by everything that Rangers does, which is absolutely glorious to see. Now, as stated, whilst the international break is on, I have been taking note. Of course, I'm an England fan, as many of you guys will know. I've never hid the fact, of course. And I have been monitoring the England squad. I don't watch the international break really in terms of friendlies as such. Mainly the sort of major competitions. I would say I'm a bit of a fake fan when it comes to international football, I must admit. But of course, I did see the big news, of course, that with regards to Sam Johnston, as he was pulled out of England duty. Now, prior to the international break, there was a lot of talk that, you know, potentially Jack Butland would get a look in, that he could potentially be a goalkeeper that could get called up to the England squad, and Gareth Southgate had been monitoring. And reports from Sky Sports in the lead up to the international break were basically saying all of that he was in line. And of course, it came as a shock, maybe to Butland himself, but mainly to Rangers supporters and other fans throughout the country, throughout the nation, when we didn't see Jack Butland's name on the actual call-up list. Following this, of course, Sam Johnston then pulled out, and then they ended up calling up James Trafford, which I thought was an absolute disrespect to the establishment, in my personal opinion, because, as I stated, it was not coming from rubbish reports. It wasn't like the Scottish Sun were talking about Jack Butland getting a potential call-up. It was actually Sky Sports and actually very reputable journalists that were stating this. So having failed to get into that sort of three-man list of the goalkeepers, you were thinking that he'd probably be the fourth choice. And then following this, Sam Johnston, of course, then was pulled out due to injury or whatever it was. And then James Trafford got the nod over Jack Butland, which I think is an absolute disgrace, really. And as stated, not just from a Rangers perspective, but from an England perspective as well. Looking at James Trafford, the guy played for Bolton last year, I think it was, and he's had a mare this season. Sorry, there's a little mosquito there. He's had a mare so far this season with Burnley, and how you can compare his goalkeeping escapades to that of Jack Butland so far this season is absolutely a disgrace. But it doesn't matter. At least Jack's getting that well-deserved rest, and hopefully we'll get the best version of him going into the run-in. Now, talking of the run-in, ladies and gentlemen, of course, we are gearing up for it. A treble is well and truly on. The women's team as well. Great to see that they're potentially chasing a treble as well. But, of course, the bread and butter, and no disrespectful to the ladies, they're doing really well for themselves. But much of the Rangers fan base is obviously focused on the men's team, of course, doing a treble. Now, of course, it has been no sort of secret. We have been struggling with injuries at this moment in time. There had been a bit of a red alert with regards to Ridvan Yalmaz, as he pulled out of Turkey, getting an injury on the 27th minute, and then, of course, was sent back to Rangers. Whilst the Turkey manager was fairly coy on the situation, there was a lot of doubt or a lot of scarcity that he could potentially be out for an extended period of time. However, an update has emerged from Ridvan himself. It seems that he will be ready to go and fit and available for the Old Firm clash. So he'll only probably miss one game, if that, and that's, of course, against Hibernian this weekend. So firstly, that's big news. That's big boost, because I do think Ridvan Yilmaz has been fantastic so far this season, first and foremost, and he is our best left back, and we need our best players really to go on in this run-in and to compete on all fronts. Following this as well, reports are also stating that Abdallah Sima is going to be fit and ready to go for that Old Firm clash as well. So 2 huge injury boosts already that could affect where the title may swing going forward. So ultimately, very, very good to hear that from both sides. Of course, that Sima's going to be back. We knew he was going to be coming back at some point after the international break, but not really definitive of when the player would be back. But it does seem as though those two are going to be fit and available and ready to go against Celtic in that Old Firm, which is absolutely huge news and a double boost for us as well. Of course, Scotland taking on Northern Ireland tonight, I think, as well. There's other sort of international matches going on in and around, some Rangers players involved, some not, whatever, but here's hoping, fingers crossed, that no more players pick up injuries and we can really get back to training. Whenever we report back to training, we hear Philippe Clement and he just gives us good news all around with regards to the remaining players that are currently representing their nations and that other players have made it. Of course, I'm talking of the likes of Toll Cantwell, that he's now had 2 weeks to really get up to speed. I know he returned before the international break, and there's a handful of other players that are currently out and about at this moment in time. So hopefully we do get some more news. But of course, the big news, of course, in regards to Ridvan Yilmaz, an update with regards to him, and he will be, it doesn't look like that injury is going to be serious. He will be ready to go against Celtic. And then, of course, other reports stating that Sima is ready to go as well. So good news all around. I'm looking forward to the Scotland-Northern Ireland game, and as stated, watching on. Scottish family, of course, everyone's Scottish in my family. I do have a little soft spot for Northern Ireland, I must say, with the Rangers links. So it's going to be a good watch. And I'm looking forward to hearing God Save the King ringing out at Hampden for a change. That would be fantastic to hear. But yeah, Rangers fans, let's try and get a little bit of a chat. There's a good few hundred or so in here. So yeah, say what's up. How are you getting through it? Have a little bit of a Rangers catch up. I know it's been a bit of a slow time, I'm not going to lie. That's why I take a couple of days off and sitting about. But honestly, there hasn't really been much news to talk about in the Rangers camp for a little while, which has been frustrating. But maybe we could stretch it out to get some sort of news coming out. And as stated, we've talked about Ridvan, we've talked about Jack Butland, we've also talked about Seymour, which is good to hear. But yeah, I see you, Jordan. I see you, Arif C. I see you, Danielle, and I also see you, William Wallace, as well. So yeah, big shout out for all of you guys for tuning in. I'll keep it pretty short. I'm sure you don't want to do too much today or to hear me rambling on when there's not an awful lot to talk about today, to be fair. But guys, if you can, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button for daily Rangers content, and I'll be back ready to go with sort of daily content as we gear up to the run-in. But yeah, let me know your thoughts, guys. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button, and as I said, no surrender. I'll let you guys finish that one off in the comments. Guys, take care.